Hi everybody, Jill here. Welcome to my channel. So this actually is a question that a gal phoned into my line, my telephone number that I've opened up just for this channel. And if you can't join us live Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, when you can ask questions live on the chat, or you can even call in live, that's okay. If for some reason you can't make it, you can call that same number and leave a voice message. I would love if you could just tell me your name and where you're from, and then go ahead and ask your question. So this is one of those questions. So her question was, you know, I don't wear makeup really a lot, but since I've been having to wear a mask all the time, I feel like my eyes are just disappearing. And I would love a very, very simple way that I can apply my eye makeup so my eyes pop a little bit when I'm wearing a mask. I would like to say that along with what we're going to be doing, you know, for our eye makeup, it's really important to address your eyebrows. I mean, your eyebrows frame your whole face, but when everything is behind a mask pretty much, those eyebrows are going to be really important to just sort of make those eyes pop. I've shown many times how I do my own brows. I'm going to go ahead and link all of those videos down below in the description box. So if you're so inclined, they'll be down there for your convenience and you can watch them. Don't get hung up on whatever palette I'm working out of today at all, because this is going to be a very neutral look. I just want you to reach for sort of something in that taupey line, something really neutral. I'm working out of the Laura Geller Delectables palette, which they do still sell this one, and it is really probably my favorite palette when I really just want a very neutral taupey kind of look. This palette is gorgeous. I have had it for a very, very long time, still is great, and I reach for it often. I really recommend doing a wash color, specifically if you are new to makeup or you hardly wear it and you're just sort of a beginner, because it makes the blending really so much easier, and that just reflects kind of your whole look when you're finished. So I definitely recommend starting out with a very matte, sort of a skin toned color. It can have a little bit of maybe a buttery color just because that is quite brightening. Today in this palette, there's two really excellent ones. I'm going to use this one down here. This one down here does have just the slightest little bit of a buttery sort of yellow, and it is matte. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my brush that I like to use for my washes. I'm going to go ahead and apply this all the way down to the lash line and all the way up to the brows. Okay, so we did that initial wash color and we went ahead and kind of brushed it away in case there was excess. Now we're ready for the next step. This is the color we're going to be dipping into next. It's just a very sort of mid-tone taupey brown. I'm going to go ahead and load it up here. I love this palette because they kind of sink in and you can easily kind of load and it doesn't bleed over to the other color. It's just great. So I'm going to tap and really kind of put this right into my natural crease as well as above the natural crease. I'm going to leave a tiny little space right here and a bigger space right under the arch of my brow. I'm not going to take it up that high, but I am definitely going to take it up higher than my natural crease. Then once I get that pigment exactly where I want it, then I can lighten my pressure and do some blending. This is a matte color as well. Now we don't want to take this color too far down this way because it's going to draw your whole face down really. Outer corner of the nose to the outer corner of your eye, that's where your eyebrows should stop. And it's just kind of a visual sort of little trick, and you don't have to do your eyeshadows like this. It's just a look that I like, and it does sort of draw the eye up rather than kind of bring it down a little bit. So that's just kind of my little mental guide that I use. And I'm going to go into that same color. We're just going to use that same color, so I'm going to load it on both sides. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to go underneath the lower lash line. Again, be really careful that you're not bringing it out this way. Make sure that you really purposely angle that up. You can connect it up there, but just be careful that you're not bringing it out too far. Really soften that line that's coming down this way. Make sure that's really soft and not just really a harsh stop and start. And we want it to be a little smoky because that's gonna open our eyes up. And it really makes a difference. And then after that, we're going to take the blending brush and soften it even more. I'm going to take a square of tissue and I'm going to fold it in half. And this is going to prevent fallout. This is going to be a very deep black shadow. It's going to be a pain in the rear if I get a lot of fallout from it. Plus, it's going to be my guide. And, it'll give me a nice clean edge. And it's just really simple. When you lay this down, you are really going to sort of exaggerate the angle. So you're gonna find the corner of your eye. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna take this on the corner of your eye and then just kind of do it here. It may seem like you'd be okay because you're gonna lift your brows, but when they drop and everything drops, that line is just going to go in that direction. We don't want it. So we are going to still use the corner of the eye. I'm going to put this tissue right directly on the lower lashes. And I'm going to take this up this direction. I'm going to lift my brows, but when I drop them when I'm normal, it's going to still give us quite a nice lift. So now what we're going to do, and it's going to help the fallout situation as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to lift this tissue because if you're like me, it kind of falls over the lash line. So if I want to get it really close to the lash line, I do have to kind of lift the tissue and put it there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring this up and I'm going to flick it. And then I'm going to go over the top even more. This is going to be a fairly thick line. And it has to be, actually, because of the tissue. And if you want to see it, you're going to have to apply it thicker than you think you do. And then I'm going to lift the tissue and kind of bring it this way as well. And voila, we have a very... And then I'm just going to kind of buff out that edge. I promise this is not hard. This brush is going to do the work for you. Pay attention to sort of the angle that you're putting the brush because it's going to sort of lay that shadow exactly where you put it. And then take away your tissue and you're good to go. Now that you have that liner on, you can reevaluate. I'm looking in the mirror. How do I, what am I feeling? Do I feel like I need, a little bit more of that pretty brown taupey color? And I think for the sake of really more filming and for what you guys are seeing, this is probably where I would leave it for just real life. But I really am going to sort of intensify this because I want you to see the application placement more than anything. So I'm just going to kind of darken it just a little bit. I always tend to reevaluate at the end, and more often than not, I do this, and I will add a little bit more of this particular color. And then I'm going to really soften that. Really soften the edges. When I say soften it, I mostly mean the edges, the top edge, the side edge, right through here, this top edge. So it's not like I'm wanting to necessarily take away pigment. I just want to soften the edges. That is all. That is all we're doing for our application of the eyeshadows. I am going to tightline because tight lining is a trick that you can do, especially if you're like me and your eyelashes are a little sparse these days, even when you put your mascara on. And I'm going to dedicate an entire video of the little tricks that I use to make it look like, you know, I have more lashes than I do. And this is definitely one of them. So first, I would curl your eyelashes. I think it opens the eyes even more, and it makes it much easier to apply the tight lining. So I'm going to use a nice creamy black eyeliner. I am loving my new one here. This is by Tarte. It's called Easy on the Eyes, and it is the kind that you don't have to sharpen, but it twists up. Very creamy, wonderful for tight lining and water lining. You can skip this step. I just think it intensifies sort of the shape of my eye, and when I do a liner like this in that sort of black shadow, nice winged liner, I do like to do this because it just kind of brings it to the next level. So do you see how that tight line definitely does sort of bring it all up a notch? So now we're gonna go ahead and apply our mascara. This is black. It is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna be doing is my eyebrows. And again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to really practice and get pretty good at shaping and doing your own brows. I mean, if you go makeup-less, but you've got your brows on, you're still gonna look pretty dang good. A little mascara and you're good to go. So I would rather go without eyeshadow than I would my brows. So for the sake of time management, I wanted this video to be reasonably short in length. I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera, but I am gonna put those links below so you can refer to those videos if you so feel the need. And this is our final look. And I wasn't thinking, I should have taken a before picture with my mask on without any eye makeup. What the heck? So you could see a before and after. That would have been brilliant. Darn it. This is a look that is great for day wear. I think concentrating and really focusing on the upper lash line using that really nice, pretty exaggerated wing. It just seems like until you get your brows on and you get that mascara on, it just seems like so much, but it all comes together at the end. But really accentuating the lash line is going to really pop when you do wear a mask. All right, so for the lips, I'm gonna go ahead and do my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. For the lips, I almost went with a Color of the World lipstick, but I'm gonna go with this one. Haven't used it in a while. It's an ESTEE Lauder, and I will put the color of this down below in the description box with the link. I believe I found this one on Amazon. It's really pretty. It's just not over the top pink, but it's just a nice sort of neutral pink. So not only do I hope that the gal who asked this question found this helpful, I hope you did too. This was a lot of fun. I would love to create more looks, sort of before and afters, before the mask and after the mask. And I don't know why I didn't think about doing that for this one. So you know I'm gonna make another one for no other reason as I'm gonna be doing that. All right, I'm gonna see you in the next video. I'll see you tomorrow for our Friday Live. Hope you can tune in and join us. Bye-bye.